नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्देशाचारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्देशाचारिणे जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा जयो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jayo Vrindavan Dham Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hare Hare Jagat Guru Sri Pad each and main the picture.
Hare Krishna and Pranam devotees. So welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam reading session. So today is Krishna Mishra Prabhu will read, and first let me share the screen and share the quiz results for yesterday. Okay. So total 6 participants, and so number 1 Atul Prabhu again with 4910 points, and after that 100% सिर्फ अतुल प्रभु का, उसके बाद 80% or 60%. So 80% Pinky Mataji, Anupama Mataji, and Meenakshi Radha Mataji, and I think last is Ramesh Gurang Prabhu.
Yes, I didn't read the question. I thought I'll complete it today first. So I just hitting true, whatever was the first one, I started clicking those ones.
और आज एक गड़बड़ भी हो गई है क्वेश्चन में, उसका आंसर
The answer was in the question. Yes, it was the one.
ना बनाने वाले ने देखा, बनाया मैंने, ना बनाने वाले ने देखा, ना पोस्ट करने वाले ने देखा.
I think it was the first one. The first question had that.
We can begin.
नमो विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण कृष्णाय धीमते श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Bhagavatam ki jai. Is the voice okay, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Okay. So we'll start chapter 5. Narad Muni giving instructions to Vyasdev. And now we'll start text 37. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnaya Aniruddhaya Nama Sankarshanaya Cha. Om, the sign of chanting the transcendental glory of the Lord. So, Om, sorry, the sign, it is the same. Om, the sing. No, it is a sign, sorry. Om, the sign of chanting the transcendental glory of the Lord. Namaha, offering obeisances unto the Lord. Bhagavate, unto the personality of Godhead. Tubhyam, unto you. Vasudevaya, unto the Lord, the son of Vasudev. Dhimahi, let us chant. Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshanaya, all planary expansions of Vasudev. Namaha, respectful obeisances. Cha, and translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Let us all chant the glories of Vasudev along with his planary expansions Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshan. Purport. According to Pancharatra, Narayan is the primeval cause of all expansions of Godhead. These are Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Vasudev and Sankarshan are on the middle left and right. Pradyumna is on the right of Sankarshan and Anirudh is on the left of Vasudeva. And thus the four deities are situated. They are known as the four IDs, the camp of Lord Shri Krishna. This is a Vedic hymn or a mantra beginning with Omkar, Pranav, and thus the mantra is established by transcendental chanting process, namely Om Namo Dhimahi, etc. So यहाँ पे जो नारद मुनि है, he is doing the Gayatri. He did the Gayatri, and then we read further. Now the purport is that any transaction, either in the field of fruitive work or in empiric philosophy, which is not ultimately aimed at transcendental realization of the Supreme Lord, is considered to be useless. Naradji has therefore explained the nature of unalloyed devotional service by his personal experience in development of intimacy between the Lord and the living entity by a gradual process of progressive devotional activities. Such progressive march of transcendental devotion for the Lord culminates in attainment of loving service of the Lord, which is called prema in different transcendental variegatedness, called rasas, taste. Such devotional service is also executed in mixed forms, namely mixed with fruitive work or empiric philosophical speculations. Now, the question which was raised by the great rishis, headed by Shaunak, regarding the confidential part of Sutta. Now, the question which was raised by great rishis, headed by Shaunak, regarding the confidential part of Sutta's achievement through the spiritual master is explained herein by chanting of his hymn consisting of 33 letters. And this mantra is addressed to the four deities or the Lord with his plenary expansions. The central figure is Lord Shri Krishna because the plenary portions are his IDs decamp. The most confidential part of the instruction is that one should always chant and remember the glories of the Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with his different plenary portions, expanded as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh. These expansions are the original deities of all other truths, namely either Vishnu Tattva or Shakti Tattva. Hare Krishna. So, यहाँ पे जो है अगर आप देखेंगे तो भक्ति के बारे में बताया गया है. Again, the stress is being done that the bhakti is the topmost than the कर्म योग और ज्ञान योग. जैसा कि पहली लाइन में जो ऊपर हमने हाईलाइट किया है, this one, the purport is always that entire field of fruitive work, karma yoga or the jnana yoga, they are all subordinate to the bhakti yoga. So the bhakti yoga is the topmost. और जो नीचे है उसमें बताया है कि जैसे जैसे भक्ति जो है ये गाढ़ी होती जाती है, तो ये जैसे जैसे भक्ति की प्रकाष्ठा बढ़ती है, ऐसे ऐसे करके ये जो है इट कल्मिनेट्स इनटू प्रेम. और जो प्रेम है उसका जो भगवान के साथ जो आदान प्रदान है उसको कहते हैं रसा. दैट बिकम्स द टेस्ट. और रसा का ये काम है, एंड दैट इज रसा. और यहाँ पे अगेन द मोस्ट कॉन्फिडेंशियल पार्ट दैट इज बीइंग stressed is in the last is always chant and remember the glories of the Lord Shri Krishna. और जो चार यहाँ पे बताए गए हैं, like there are expansions, वासुदेव, संकर्षण, प्रद्युम्न and अनिरुद्ध. तो जब हम कैंटो 2 में जाएंगे तो वहाँ के ऊपर जो क्रिएशन, that Canto 2 is creation, where these expansions are explained in detail. वो अपने आप में ही बहुत बड़ा explanation है. So that we will read about them in the Canto 2. तो यहाँ पे मेन है कि भक्ति जो है that is topmost. So who have raised the hand, then we can read the next. Yes, Ronnie Prabhu, you can read.
Hare Krishna. इति मूर्ति अभिधानेन मंत्र मूर्तिकम् yajate yagya purusham sa samyak darshana puman. Iti, thus, murti representation, abhidhanena, in sound, mantra murtim, form representation of transcendental sound, amurtikam, the Lord, who has no material form, yajate, worship, yagya Vishnu, purusham, the personality of Godhead, saha, he alone, samyak, perfectly, darshana, one who has seen, puman, person. Thus, he is the actual seer who worships in the form of transcendental sound representation the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who has no material form. Our present senses are all made of material elements, and therefore they are imperfect in realizing the transcendental form of Lord Vishnu. He is therefore worshipped by sound representation via the transcendental method of chanting. Anything which is beyond the scope of experience by our imperfect senses can be realized fully by the sound representation. A person transmitting sound from a far distant place can be factually experienced. If this is materially possible, why not spiritually? This experience is not a vague impersonal experience. It is actually an experience of the transcendental personality of Godhead who possesses the pure form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. In the Amaro Amar Kosh Sanskrit dictionary, the word murti carries import in twofold meanings, namely form and difficulty. The word amurtikam is explained by Acharya Shrivishwana Chakravarti Thakur as meaning without difficulty. The transcendental form of eternal bliss and knowledge can be experienced by our original spiritual senses, which can be revived by chanting the holy mantras or transcendental sound representation. Such sound should be received from the transparent agency of the bona fide spiritual master, and the chanting may be practiced by the direction of the spiritual master. That will gradually lead us nearer to the Lord. This method of worship is recommended in the Pancharatrika system, which is both recognized and authorized. The Pancharatrika system has the most authorized codes for transcendental devotional service. Without the help of such codes, one cannot approach the Lord, certainly not by dry philosophical speculation. The Pancharatrika system is both practical and suitable for this age of quarrel. The Pancharatrika is more important than the Vedanta for this modern age.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for such a strong verse. यहाँ पे जो है, यहाँ पे बताया गया है द इम्पोर्टेंट जो कीर्तन है उसकी महिमा का गुणगान किया गया है। तो यहाँ पे जो है कीर्तन की महिमा का गुणगान किया जा रहा है कि जैसे यहाँ बताया है that the Lord is worshipped by the sound representation by the transcendental method of chanting, which is in the first paragraph. और वहां पे बताया है, उसका एग्जाम्पल देते हैं प्रभुपाद कि जैसे अगर आपका कोई मित्र है जिसको आप देख नहीं सकते, या अगर हम घर में भी देख सकते हैं कि अगर आप एक रूम में हैं और घर के सदस्य दूसरे रूम में हैं, so though they are not visible, but if you call them, then you can actually hear from them. So that is the way that the mantra, that chanting is also one of the process. और यहाँ पे भगवान को मंत्र मूर्ति के उससे, मंत्र मूर्ति means मंत्र विग्रह, like his form is in the name of, his form is in the name, like the भगवान के नाम और भगवान में कोई अंतर नहीं है, अमूर्तिकम, which is here, it is here without any difficulty. But again, it is being the main point also is that it should not be by our own whims and fancies कि हम कोई भी मंत्र उच्चारण कर लें, but here it is written that it has to come through a bona fide spiritual master, and the chanting may be practiced under the direction of spiritual master. और जब हम ये chanting करते हैं तो ये जो आता है पंचरात्रिका विधि में आता है, तो उसमें जो है उसमें बताया है, तो वो क्या है कि यहाँ पे बताया है, लास्ट में प्रभुपाद बता रहे हैं कि पंचरात्रिका इंपॉर्टेंट है देन वेदांत, क्योंकि वेदांत और उससे जो है वो तो हम स्पेकुलेट करते रह जाते हैं। और जैसे हमने पिछले वर्ष में भी पढ़ा था कि उनका कोई जो भक्ति योग है वो इन दोनों से ऊपर है, और पंचरात्रिका विधि हमें बताती है कि कैसे हम भक्ति कर सकते हैं, जैसे हम कैसे हम भगवान की पूजा अर्चना कर सकते हैं, कैसे हम भगवान को भोग लगा सकते हैं, बिकॉज इट इज मोर प्रैक्टिकल इन दिस एज रादर देन डूइंग कर्म फल या ज्ञान मार्ग, because they both are useless. Hare Krishna. Yes, we can read next. Next is Anand Vilasini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Text 39. Imam swanigamam brahman avetya mad anushtitam adan me jnanam aishwaryam swasmin bhavam cha keshava. Imam, thus, swanigamam, confidential knowledge of the Vedas in respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahman, O Brahman, O Brahman, Vyasdev, Avetya, knowing it well, Mat, by me, Anustitam, executed, Adat, bestowed upon me, me, Jnanam, transcendental knowledge, Aishwaryam, opulence, Swasmin, personal, Bhavam, intimate affection and love, Cha, and Keshava, Lord Krishna. Translation. O Brahman, thus by the Supreme Lord Krishna, I was endowed first with the transcendental knowledge of the Lord as inculcated in the confidential parts of the Vedas, then with the spiritual opulences, and then with his intimate loving service. Purport. Communion with the Lord by transmission of transcendental sound is not different from the whole spirit, Lord Sri Krishna. It is completely perfect method for approaching the Lord. By such pure contact with the Lord, without offense of material conception, numbering 10, the devotee can rise above the material plane to understand the inner meaning of the Vedic literatures, including the Lord's existence in the transcendental realm. The Lord reveals his identity gradually to one who has unflinching faith, both in the spiritual master and in the Lord. After this, the devotee is endowed with mystic opulences, which are 8 in number. And above all, the devotee is accepted in the confidential entourage of the Lord and is entrusted with specific service of the Lord through the agency of the spiritual master. A pure devotee is more interested in serving the Lord than in showing an exhibition of the mystic power dormant in him. Sri Narad has explained all these from his personal experience, and one can obtain all the facilities which Sri Narad obtained by perfecting the chanting process of the sound representation of the Lord. There is no bar for chanting this transcendental sound by anyone, provided it is received through Narad's representative coming down by the chain of disciplic succession or the parampara system.
हरे कृष्ण. So यहाँ पे नारद मुनि जो हैं, वो जो है वो स्तर बता रहे हैं, अलग अलग स्तर जो हैं, जैसे उन्होंने उनको ये इंफॉर्मेशन मिली. So he is talking about the first, he got the transcendental knowledge of the Lord, including the confidential parts of the Vedas. तो फिर उन्होंने जो opulence and then with the intimate loving service. So आगे भी यही बताया है कि कैसे जो है वो भक्ति जो है, that is the topmost. The Lord reveals his identity gradually to one who has unflinching faith both in spiritual master and in the Lord. After this, the devotee is endowed with mystic opulence, which are 8 in number, and above all, the devotees is accepted in the confidential entourage of the Lord and is trusted with the. तो यहाँ वही बताया है कि भक्ति जब आप करते हैं, so the karma phal and the jnana, they both are subordinate, and when we do bhakti properly, then both of these becomes the byproduct. So यही ये बार-बार यही बताया जा रहा है कि और जो भक्त है उसको क्या करना चाहिए, उसको करना चाहिए it's more interested in serving the Lord than showing his exhibition in the mystic powers. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि एक भक्त जो है वो mystic powers नहीं कर सकता, वो चमत्कार नहीं कर सकता. Yes, he can, but why he is only interested in serving the Lord because that is what the Lord likes. Otherwise it is useless whatever that you do. And you can also, and Narad Muni कह रहे हैं कि इसको obtain करने का perfection क्या है, the chanting. So again you see there is every time बार Prabhupada यहाँ बता रहे हैं that even that Narad Muni is also saying that okay, that chanting is the process by which we can also achieve what Narad Muni has achieved. Like he also did, so we can also do that. Yes, we can read next. Okay. Shivani Mataji.
त्वम् अपि अदभ्रश्रुता विश्रुतं विभोः समाप्यते येन विदं भूषितं प्राख्यानि दुःखैर्मुहुरर्दितमानम् संकलेश निर्वाणम् उशन्ति नायनथ त्वं your good soul api also adabhra vast shrut Vedic literature Vishrutam have heard also Vibhu of the Almighty Samipate satisfied yena by which Vidam of the learned Bubhutsitam who always desire to learn transcendental knowledge Prakhyahi described Dukh Duhakhay by the miseries Muhu always Arditam Atmanam suffering mass of people Sankalesh suffering Nirvanam mitigation Ushantina do not get out Na Anyatha by other means translation. Please therefore describe the Almighty Lord's activities which you have learned by your vast knowledge of the Vedas. For that will satisfy the hankering of great learned men and at the same time mitigate the miseries of masses of common people who are always suffering from the material panges. Indeed, there is no other way to get out of such miseries. Purport. Sri Narad Muni from practical experience definitely assert that the prime solution of all problems of material work is to broadcast very widely the transcendental glories of the Supreme Lord. There are 4 classes of good men and there are 4 classes of bad men. The 4 classes of good men acknowledge the authority of Almighty God and therefore such good men, when they are in difficulty, when they are in the need of money, when they are advanced in knowledge, and when they are inquisitive to know more and more about God, intuitively take shelter of the Lord. As such, Naradji advised Vyasadeva to broadcast the transcendental knowledge of God in terms of the vast Vedic knowledge which he had already attained. As far as the bad men are concerned, they are also 4 in number. Those who are simply addicted to the mode of progressive fruitive work and thus are subjected to accompanying miseries. Those who are simply addicted to vicious work for sense gratification and so suffer the consequences. Third, those who are materially very much advanced in knowledge, but who suffer because they don't have sense of knowledge, the sense to acknowledge the authority of the Almighty Lord. And fourth, the class of men who are known as atheists and who therefore purposely hate the very name of God, although they are always in difficulty. Sri Naradji advised Vyasadeva to describe the glories of the Lord just to do good to 8 classes, all 8 classes of men, both good and bad. Srimad Bhagavatam is therefore not meant for any particular class of men or sect. It is for the sincere soul who always wants his own welfare and peace of mind. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of first canto, 5th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Narad's instruction on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you're on mute.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear now?
Yes.
Okay. So यहाँ पे जो है Narad Muni is advising Vyasadeva to describe the glories of the Lord, which is good for all 8 classes of men. तो जो मनुष्य हैं उनको यहाँ पे तो 2 major classes में बताया गया है. One is दुष्कृति and सुकृति, ऐसे ही रहती है. सुष्कृति ऐसे होता है ना, सुष्कीर्तिना and दुष्कीर्तिना, right?
Sukriti and Dushkriti.
सुकृति एंड दुष्कृति. So there are 4 classes. तो जो 4 classes हैं, जो सुकृति नाम में भी there are 4, जो हम भगवत गीता में भी पढ़ते हैं, तो उसमें जो 4 बताए गए हैं. One is who is in difficulty, when they are in the need of money. Third, when they are advanced in knowledge, and when they are inquisitive to know more about the God. तो ये जो 4 तरीके के लोग हैं जो भगवान के पास जाते हैं. और जो बाद में जो बताए हैं 4, वो है द बैड मैन. और उसमें डिफरेंस क्या बताया है? वो आर द गुड, those who acknowledge the authority of the God, they are good, and those who do not acknowledge the authority of the Lord, they are called as bad men. और वो कौन से हैं? Those who are simply addicted to the mode of progressive fruitive work, and those who are simply addicted to various work of sense satisfaction. Third, who are materially very much advanced in knowledge, but who suffer because they do not have sense to acknowledge the authority of the Almighty. And fourth, the class of men who are known as atheists, Nastic, who do not believe in the name of God. तो जो 4 हैं, वो कहते हैं कि देखिए, तो वो बता रहे हैं उनको, therefore describe the Almighty Lord's activities which you have learned by your vast knowledge of Vedas. तो नारद मुनि उनको बोल रहे हैं कि जो आपने जो इतने वेदों की रचना करी है, और उनमें से जितने भी आपने, क्योंकि किसी में आपने भगवान की लीलाओं का वर्णन नहीं किया है, तो अब जो है, और क्योंकि वो ये लोग तो उसको समझ नहीं पाएंगे, सो एक सिंपल लैंग्वेज में नाउ यू राइट द भागवतम. उनको इंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे हैं, यू राइट इन सच अ मैनर that they are able to understand it. So Shri Narad advised Vyasdev to describe the glories of the Lord, which is good for all 8 classes. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि किसी एक सेक्ट या किसी एक धर्म या किसी एक जाति के लिए बनाया गया है. It is for all. Nowhere it is says that it is for one, but it is for all. So this ends the Narad Muni's instruction to Vyasdev. और अब जो है वो next chapter आता है. We completed the 4th chapter and we can move to 3 minutes left. So we can move to the next, or should we take a pause, Ronnie Prabhu? 3 minutes, I think. आप देखिए कितना बड़ा परपट है. Then we'll see.
तो भी नेक्स्ट चैप्टर स्टार्ट करेंगे ना, तो नेक्स्ट क्लास में भी कर सकते हैं. अगर सेम चैप्टर में होता कंटिन्यूअसली में तो कर सकते थे.
और because Prabhuji is here, so devotees can ask the questions to Prabhuji, and Prabhuji can then.
सारे क्वेश्चंस की गठरी मेरे पे. हरे कृष्णा. So next chapter we'll read from tomorrow, but next chapter is where now Vyasdev asks a very nice question to Narad Muni, because Narad Muni भी कह रहे हैं कि जो उन्होंने है, he learned this from the जो ऋषि मुनि होते हैं, that he learned from them, and he asked him, what did you do when they left? So it is like कि ठीक है, जब तक क्लास में एक मॉनिटर होता है तो सारे तो सीरियसली बैठे रहते हैं, लेकिन जैसे ही क्लास का मॉनिटर या टीचर जब चले जाता है तो आप कैसे करते हैं. सो ही इज आस्किंग दैट when there is when your masters have gone, then what did you do? So that is from where the next chapter starts. That is the question that Vyasdev asked Narad Muni. Conversation between Narad and Vyasdev. Hare Krishna. So we end here. There is one question which is there, which is from Surjit Prabhu. माता जी, सुरजीत माता जी, ये पंचरात्रि का क्या है ये बता दीजिए. सो माता जी, पंचरात्रि का जो है, ये भगवान की पूजा अर्चना जो करते हैं उसकी कोड बुक है, लाइक गाइड टू डू द. इसमें जो भगवान की पूजा अर्चना है उसके विधि विधान दिए हुए हैं, किस विधि से कौन सी पूजा करनी है. सो दैट इज व्हाट द पंचरात्रि का इज. Ronnie Prabhu, you want to add something? At least I know this one.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Shukriya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, किसी और की कोई टिप्पणी? Any comments?
Devotees can attempt the quiz in the meantime.
Yes, you can attempt the quiz. जिन्होंने नहीं किया है.
Let me put it again. Okay.
So I think we can end. नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.